We have witnessed a surge in using data, artificial intelligence, and machine learning in delivering a wide range of use cases in recent years. In transport industry, harnessing the power of data means organizations have better insights into user behavior and traffic patterns. My name is Saeed Barghi. I'm an analytics solutions architect at AWS, and today I'm joined by Caleb Sawade to discuss the applications of AI and ML in transport industry and hear what Deloitte have been doing in this space to help organizations deliver those use cases faster and more cost effectively. Welcome, Caleb.
Great to be here.
So let's start by discussing the applications of AI and ML, and more specifically generative AI in transport industry.
Gen AI has been incredible to witness, hasn't it, right? The rise of Gen AI, and probably more specifically large language models in the recent years, has been staggering to watch. I mean, I've never seen such excitement around a technology ever. But industries are now scrambling to work out how to use such powerful technology across various use cases. And it's quite obvious in areas like finance and insurance and those kind of sectors where you've got large customer interaction. Think about advanced chatbots and the way it can change the customer experience. But in transport, it's a little bit less obvious. There are some good in-car entertainment experience use cases that are coming out, and certainly some good dynamic routing and public transport planning use cases that are quite good for customers as well. But in the transport operations domain, it's a little bit less obvious. What we do have in transport operations is a huge amount of data, a massive amounts of data. And it can be quite overwhelming for someone to work out how to solve a problem in real time with all that data that we have available to us. And that's where Gen AI could step in. So we're looking at ways in which you can connect all that data with the transport operator in a more dynamic and natural language style of query approach that essentially allows us to provide better solutions to problems like congestion management and emergency services. In the non-real-time space, certainly Gen AI is going to be helping to develop the new and next wave of regulation and standards and compliance for things like electric vehicles and autonomous cars. That's certainly going to be a big shift.
Great, those are very interesting use cases, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people can relate to them. What have Deloitte been doing specifically in this space?
Yeah, well, Deloitte is a huge, vast company. We work across all sorts of industries and sectors. We work in areas of advisory, through to technology implementation, all the way through to managing large platforms and services for customers for years to come. But one big area that we're seeing a large demand for is the use of more AI, machine learning, simulation, and also digital twins in transport, really to help transport agencies predict and understand the network that they're managing in real time. That's why we built a product called Optimal Reality. It's Deloitte's digital twin and simulation platform. We started building around 5 years ago, and really we wanted to bring together best-of-breed technologies from across areas such as aerospace, Formula One, and really try and connect mission control thinking and mission control approach into technology sectors and companies here in Australia. So we work across rail, air traffic control, ground transport control. Basically think of really large-scale networks. We help to manage, predict, and optimize those networks in real time.
That's great. Marrying digital twins and AI and ML sounds very interesting. Can you please tell us about the reusability of this solution? How does it help organizations to shorten their time to value when it comes to using AI and ML and generative AI to solve complex problems?
So Optimal Reality brings together a vast amount of data. We ingest everything we can, from traffic lights and signals through to CCTV cameras, weather information, you name it, we'll ingest it. We bring all that data together and we fuse it onto a network model, basically a digital twin of the network that we're concerned with, that we're worried about. A digital twin is essentially a computational model connected to real-time data that allows us to predict forward. Think of it, meaning that we can do things like use cases of what-if scenarios. We can test what could be before we actually see it happen. It's kind of like a time machine. We can pause time, we can rewind time, we can even fast forward time to see what is and what was and what will become. So the use cases and the lists of use cases in transport are very long when you have that kind of power. One exciting area, though, specifically in ML and AI, is the collaboration we have with AWS, and we've got a a feature in optimal reality called AutoEye, and we're using the panorama devices, the computer vision devices that AWS provide to power real-time computer vision models that are being computed on their CCTV footage and network across the network. And that basically allows us to have automatic eyes everywhere that we've got a camera. And that really speeds up and reduces the overhead for operators to be watching CCTV cameras in mission control rooms. All that data also feeds into optimal reality. So Panorama is producing events. Those events then pop up in optimal reality, and we can then use those in conjunction with the rest of the data that we have to solve the congestion problems that we see.
Cool. That real-time aspect of optimal reality sounds very exciting. What other industries or use cases can it be applied to?
Well, like transport and aviation, for example, many sectors are facing a huge amount of disruption in the world. We typically will use prediction, forecasting and planning, AI, ML can be part of that, to understand how businesses should evolve over the next 5 to 10 years. Yep. That becomes a lot harder with the uncertainty in the world around us. It's really difficult to build in a pandemic model before it happens, right? And all of a sudden it happens, and then all of your forecasting goes out the window. So we're seeing a lot of businesses and a lot of sectors move towards a much more dynamic and much more adaptive way of controlling their business. Now we're into the smart era, right? Smart manufacturing, smart agriculture, smart everything, because they're connecting that real-time IoT data to some form of model that allows them to do dynamic real-time optimization of that business and therefore extract maximum value of the now, rather than hoping and assuming that the 10 years will play out the way they expect it to.
And finally, what are your predictions for how transport industry is going to take shape in 2024 and beyond?
Well, I don't have a crystal ball, but I think there's going to be a lot of change. Personally, I'm really excited to see the intersection between transport and other sectors, such as, for example, energy. As more electric vehicles start to hit our shores and really have an uptake from consumers, we actually will see different types of interactions between the transport sector, the energy sector and the consumer market. I think that's going to be a really fascinating space to watch. Obviously, autonomous vehicles are really hot on the agenda. That will change a huge amount of things when it comes to policy, regulation, but also how our traffic systems and our traffic management technologies will be used. There'll be a big shift towards automation and autonomous control of our networks, and that will mean that our operators will have to shift their focus to worry about how those autonomous systems are controlling the networks as well. So we'll definitely see a big change in the next couple of years towards much more AI, ML, simulation, digital twin work being used and taken up by transport agencies so that they can understand, analyze, predict, manage their networks in more advanced ways. That I'm sure of. From a mobility perspective, mobility as a service, I think something will definitely shift, because as the prices of mobility as a service goes up, we'll see new forms of mobility come to the streets in the forms of autonomous taxis, for example. We'll certainly see them as they are in the US. They'll eventually get here to Australia. And also new forms of mobility altogether. If you think about the new electric vertical takeoff, vertical landing aircraft, of small, lightweight, private aircraft, I'm very excited about that. It's going to be really awesome seeing, flying taxis. So there's lots to look forward to in the future of transport, and a huge amount of AI, ML, simulation, digital twins, and prediction.
Perfect. Thank you very much for sharing your insights and time with us. And thank you for watching. If you have any questions about any of the topics that we discussed today, please feel free to reach out to your account team at AWS or Deloitte, and we'll be more than happy to help out. Thanks.